The Sacramento River winds through the North Delta, connecting 9 historic towns, each with its own character and stories to tell. They were built on high ground and became islands of civilization where steamboats landed and fancy hotels flourished. Here's a little bit about each one of them. We hope you'll take the time to explore. Starting just below Sacramento, we come to the town of Freeport. During the gold rush, if you were hauling goods up the river to Sacramento on a steamer, you had to pay a port tax. Some enterprising businessmen decided to avoid the tax, so they built a new port with no taxes and named it Freeport. Getting across the river in those days meant using a boat or a ferry. But in 1929, the Freeport Bridge was built, and it's still being used today. It's a fine example of what's called a bascule bridge, a drawbridge that uses a large counterweight to open the bridge to let river traffic pass. Moving downriver, the next town is Clarksburg, a true slice of Americana. In the 1800s, this area was a swamp until people drained the land, built the levees, and then built the beautiful town you see today. After all the pumping, clearing, and levee work was done, the farmland proved to be highly productive. And today, Clarksburg is home to one of Northern California's premier wine grape regions. The old sugar mill made sugar from sugar beets for 6 decades. Today, it's a vibrant wine tasting and event venue that draws tens of thousands of people a year to Clarksburg. Our next stop is the town of Hood, once called Richland. Edward Harriman, owner of the Southern Pacific Railroad, renamed the town after his chief construction engineer, William Hood. Harriman began building a scenic travel route that would take people from Sacramento to Hood by rail, and then to San Francisco by steamboat. The concept fell by the wayside after Harriman's death. Today, Hood has nearly 300 residents, and many families have lived here for generations. Traveling further downriver, we come to the charming town of Cortland, known as the Bartlett pear capital of the world. Every July, Cortland celebrates the harvest with its pear fair, one of the longest continuously running agricultural fairs in Northern California. In its heyday, the town shipped produce of all kinds from its busy wharf, and steamboats stopped in daily. You can't miss the building that looks like a Greek temple. It was once the Bank of Cortland. Time stands still in Locke, the only rural village left in America that was built by and for the Chinese. Built in 1915 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, Locke looks much like it did more than 100 years ago. You'll find shops, restaurants, and galleries in Locke's famously crooked buildings. Museums, including the Dai Loi Gambling Museum and the Locke Boarding House Museum, tell the stories of Chinese immigrant life in this once bustling town. Just a mile downriver from Locke, you'll find Walnut Grove on both sides of the river, one of the earliest settlements on the Sacramento River. In its day, the town was something of a cultural center, with a theater, European-style hotels, and a cannery. Walnut Grove had the largest Chinatown in the Delta, but after fires in 1915 and 1937, many of the Chinese moved to Locke. Today, you can visit the original storefronts on the river levee and take a self-guided tour of historic sites east of the levee. Near Walnut Grove is a spectacular Grand Island mansion, built in 1920. With 24,000 square feet and 58 rooms, this Italian Renaissance-style villa is the largest private estate in Northern California. Ride's colorful past centers around the Ride Hotel, a notorious speakeasy during the Prohibition years. Legend has it that a tunnel led from the bar in the basement to the river, where boats offloaded contraband liquor and guests could escape a police raid. During the Roaring '20s, Hollywood celebrities, politicians, and other A-listers flocked to the Ride Hotel. Today, this beautiful Art Deco hotel recalls a bygone era and remains a favorite Delta landmark. Founded in 1874, Isleton became a hub of farming, canning, and shipping. At one time, Isleton was home to more than 3,000 people. with 2 banks, gambling houses, and 3 canneries. In 1926, a fire destroyed Main Street, and the downtown was rebuilt with the metal-covered buildings you see today. You'll find antique shops, art galleries, restaurants, and the Ileton Museum in the downtown area. Ileton's Chinatown and Japantown districts are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Since its founding in 1858, fishing has been a part of life in Rio Vista. Early on, a salmon cannery shipped salmon to San Francisco and the world. Then, the Great Flood of 1862 put the town under 12 feet of water, so the people moved to higher ground in the town's current location. In 1985, Rio Vista gained fame as the town where Humphrey the Humpback Whale came to visit, and again in 2007, when the humpback mother and daughter, Delta and Dawn, also got lost here. Fishing is still a big deal in Rio Vista. The famous Rio Vista Bass Derby and Festival is California's oldest fishing derby and attracts hundreds of anglers and thousands of spectators every year.